In 2019, I had $50,000 sitting in a Lebanese bank account. I remember the exact moment I decided to move it. I went to an ATM to withdraw $200 only, and the machine failed. Then I went to another ATM machine in a different city in Lebanon, and the machine failed too. People were starting to whisper. There were rumors that the banks were struggling. I didn't fully believe it, but something in my gut said, move it now. So I did. 2 weeks later, Lebanese banks froze every single account in the country. People couldn't access their own money. Friends of mine, smart, hard-working people, lost their entire life savings not because they made bad investments and not because they spent recklessly, simply because they trusted one bank in one country. That $50,000 I moved, it's safe, sitting across multiple accounts in multiple countries right now. And that experience completely changed how I think about money forever. Here's the thing most people never question. We're taught from a young age that you put your money in a bank and it's safe. Full stop. That's the whole lesson. Work hard, save money, keep money in the bank. But nobody asks, which bank, which country, what currency, and what happens if that country has a financial crisis? Because here's the truth. The feeling of safety is not the same as actual safety. If all your money is in one bank, in one country, and in one currency, you don't have a financial plan. You only have a single point of failure. And Lebanon taught me that. But Lebanon is not unique. Greece in 2008. Argentina multiple times, Cyprus in 2013, where the government literally took a percentage of people's savings to pay national debt. This has happened before and it will happen again somewhere in the world. The question is, will you be ready when it does? So let me walk you through exactly how I structure my money across 4 countries. And then at the end, I'll tell you how you can start doing a version of this even if you're just starting out. Country number 1, USA. I use Bank of America for general business banking and Mercury, which is a business account specifically built for online entrepreneurs and remote workers. Mercury is actually fantastic if you run any kind of online business because it's designed for people who operate globally. I also have a PayPal account, mostly for receiving payments from international clients. So why the US? Because the USD is still the world's reserve currency. When everything else shakes, the dollar is still the benchmark. So if I'm going to hold cash, I want a significant portion to be in US dollars. The second country is the UAE. Even with the current situation, Dubai is still my personal wealth base. I use banks like Mashreq, YO, and Emirates NBD. Dubai makes sense for 3 reasons. First, zero income tax. Second, the AED, which is the UAE dirhams, is pegged to the US dollars, so there's basically zero currency risk. And third, Dubai is politically stable and positioned as a global financial hub. It's not going anywhere. Now I know that the current situation is shaky. That's why Dubai is not just my primary place where I bank, and it's not the only thing I rely on. It's just where I keep my personal savings and where most of my day-to-day lifestyle spending comes from. The third place is Europe. I have accounts in Austria and in France just because I lived there in the past. Plus, I use Wise, which is honestly the most flexible tool I've ever used for managing money across borders. Wise lets me hold Euro, USD, and GBP and about 40 other currency in one single account. For example, I also have property in Turkey, in Istanbul, and I often use Wise whenever I go there. I can convert between currencies instantly and in real exchange rate with minimal fees. And if you do anything internationally and you don't have Wise, stop this video and go open one. It's free and I'm going to leave a link in the description below. The EU accounts give me euro exposure, which is important because a lot of my expenses when I'm going to Europe are in euros. Currency diversification isn't just about safety, it's also about not losing money on conversion every time you spend. Now my 4th country is Lebanon because I'm from Lebanon and I keep minimal cash in Lebanon, just enough for living expenses when I'm visiting family or if I'm living in Lebanon. After what happened, I'll obviously never keep significant savings in Lebanese banks again. The lesson was learned the hard way, not by me personally, but by watching people around me. Now let's talk a little bit about the investment layer because that's where people stop. They diversify their cash across countries and they think that they're done. But cash sitting in bank accounts is actually losing value every single day due to inflation. You know that. $1 today is worth less than $1 5 years ago. So while your balance looks the same, your purchasing power is shrinking. This is why the second layer of my financial setup is liquid investments, specifically ETFs. So I use 2 platforms. Interactive Brokers, also called IBKR, one of the most popular and established brokerage platforms in the world, available in almost every country. And I also use Amal Invest, which I'll link below, specifically for halal investing options for those who need Sharia compliant portfolios. And ETFs are my preferred investment vehicle because they're liquid and I can sell them and have cash in my bank account almost immediately within days if I need it. So I'm not locked in like real estate. Although I do have real estate investments, I also like to have something that is liquid. And I'm also not speculating like crypto. I'm simply buying a piece of the global economy and letting it grow over time. Now, the combination of cash across multiple countries plus liquid ETFs means that I have both security and growth working at the same time. So now I want to be honest with you here. My setup didn't happen overnight. It took years of living in different countries, building businesses, making money, and learning from mistakes to get to this point. So if you are watching this with $10,000 in savings and one bank account in one country, I'm not telling you to go open 6 accounts tomorrow. That's obviously not realistic and actually would be overwhelming. But here's what you can do right now, regardless of where you live. First, open a Wise account. This is available in almost every country in the world. You don't have residency requirements, no minimum balance, and it takes 10 minutes. Start holding some of your savings in a second currency, even if it's just converting a portion of USD or euros. This alone gives you some currency diversification. The second step is to open an IBKR account, Interactive Brokers, if it's available in your country. Now, it's available in most countries, and it allows you to invest in global ETFs. So even putting $1,000 into a simple S&P 500 ETF is indefinitely better than cash sitting in a local bank losing value. Now, if you're a Muslim watching this video, S&P 500 is not a halal option, but there are halal alternatives that mimic this ETF. The third step is to think about a second possible country. This doesn't mean moving there. It means asking yourself, is there a country where it makes sense for me to have a financial presence? Maybe you travel there, maybe you do business there, maybe you just want euro or US dollars exposure. Start thinking about this now, so when the opportunity comes, you're ready. The goal isn't complexity. The goal is that no single government, no single bank, and no single currency can wipe you out overnight. Because I've seen what happens when people don't think this way, and I've also seen what happens when they do. Now, I want to leave you with this. People who lost everything in the Lebanese financial collapse weren't stupid. They weren't reckless. They were just following the rules they were taught. Work hard, save money, and trust the bank. The rules were wrong. And the earlier you realize that the system was not designed to protect your wealth, only to use it, the earlier you start building something that actually does. Diversification across countries isn't for the ultra-rich. It's for anyone who understands that the world is bigger than one bank, one border, and one currency. Now, if this video gave you a new perspective, subscribe because I talk about this stuff all the time. And drop a comment below telling me which country you're in and whether you've ever thought about this before. I'll see you in the next one.